from Cleveland. It's the Snapper All-Star Pregame Show, brought to you by Snapper Lawn and Garden Equipment. Snapper, anything less just won't cut it.
For the first time since 1981 and the fifth time in baseball history, baseball's Midsummer Classic comes back to Cleveland, Ohio. Welcome to the 68th All-Star Game, where fans from near and far have come to celebrate our national pastime here in Ohio. The weather forecast, somewhat ominous, but we're going to have baseball tonight. 82 degrees, 53% humidity, light showers. There is a tornado watch until 9 o'clock locally, but the good sign, the lightning clouds to our left, and that's from the area in which the wind is blowing here at Jacobs Field. And hi again, everybody. I'm Chip Carey along with Steve Psycho Lyons doing our Gene Kelly impersonation, dancing in the rain and singing in the rain tonight here on Fox. And boy, this rock and roll city, Steve, really has put on a great show for us the All-Star Week.
It's been a tremendous couple of days, and how things have changed here. Back in 1981, the All-Star Game was thrown together just 9 days after a 50-day players' strike, and the fans came out in record numbers that time. Since then, baseball has had some well-documented problems, but as we sit here tonight at the summer's greatest sporting event, baseball is clearly enjoying a renaissance. From interleague play to the chase of Roger Maris with Griffey and McGuire, it is obvious to me that baseball is back. And you know, Chip, if I can paraphrase, if you rebuild it, they will come, and that's what they're doing here in Cleveland tonight.
And, of course, a huge sellout crowd again on hand here at Jacobs Field, where they have always supported baseball's All-Star Game. And that's because the fans here are so great, and, of course, you, the fans at home, responsible for selecting the All-Star starters for tonight's ball game. This year, just like last, the leading vote getters were, of course, Seattle's Ken Griffey Jr. and, of course, the Dodgers' Mike Piazza. Earlier today, Bob Brenly and Tim McCarver, who will be calling tonight's game with Joe Buck, sat down and talked to those two superstars. Let's start the conversation off with Tim McCarver and Mike Piazza.
All right, Chip, I mean, it's hard to realize that 1,600 players were drafted before Mike Piazza back in 1988. And, Mike, now you have been the leading vote getter in the National League for the last 2 years. That's a remarkable ascent in a very short period of time.
I'm honored. I really am, and I'm really thankful to all the fans who voted for me, not only in Los Angeles, but obviously all over the country. I'm enjoying it. I'm trying to make the most of it, enjoy every second, and, you know, again, every All-Star game for me has just been tremendous. A lot of memories, and I'm having a lot of fun.
You realize that millions of people are going to be seeing the pitches from Greg Maddux and all the other National League pitchers tonight through this camera. Your thoughts on this device?
It's a little heavy. I hope. I'd like to see maybe a foul tip right there so people could see what it's really like to catch it. But no, this is going to be interesting. I hope it provides a good perspective, and you can see how the balls move, and just try to get a little glimpse of what our job's all about.
From Mike Piazza to Junior, and he's there with Bob Brenly.
Thanks, Tim. We're here in the American League dugout with the leading vote getter in this year's All-Star Game, Ken Griffey Jr., over 3.5 million votes. Ken, unlike the last couple years, you're going to actually get to play in this All-Star Game. A little different feeling this year?
Yeah, a little nervous. You know, I haven't played in a couple years, but, you know, I do respect what the fans do by punching my name out. I mean, that's they don't have to do it, but they do it, and I like to thank them.
Your father was the most valuable player in the 1980 All-Star Game. You were 10 years old. Were you at that game?
No, I was actually at home, and I was sitting on the couch, and I said, Dad's going to hit a home run, and he ended up hitting a home run.
That's very prophetic. Do you have any predictions for this year's game?
Hopefully that we win. That's what I really want. No, but I don't predict. You know, when you're little and, you know, your dad gets up, it's always, you know, you're always rooting for your dad. And I said he's going to hit a home run, and he hit it.
So you suppose Trey's at home tonight rooting for you to hit a home run?
Actually, Trey's here. He's with his grandfather right now. So hopefully my grandfather, well, my dad is taking him to Children's Palace or Toys R Us, so I don't have to.
All right, Junior, thanks a lot. Have a great game.
Thank you.
All right, Chip, back to you. Okay, Bob, thank you very much. And Steve, what's with Junior? Looks a little tired before the All-Star game tonight.
He's a little bit cranky. You know, for the 5 All-Stars for the Mariners, they had to take a red-eye flight to get here. They've had 29 two-game series. I think he's a little bit tired. He has to carry that ball club.
Well, he's the man the fans have come to see tonight as the American League tries to snap a 4-game National League winning streak. Now stay tuned, friends. Join the Pepsi Party Sweepstakes on Fox to play. Get your Pepsi All-Star fan ballot stub ready and look for your lucky number. If it matches, you can enter the sweepstakes for a chance to win the grand prize trip to the 1998 All-Star Game in Denver, or other great prizes such as the Pepsi Home Party Suite, which includes a Bose sound system, big screen TV, and a fridge stocked with Pepsi. All right, coming up, we'll introduce you to the combatants for tonight's All-Star Game in Cleveland. You're watching the Snapper All-Star Pregame Show here on Fox.
watching the 1997 All-Star Game on Fox.
Well, if I had money to tell you what I'd do, I'd go downtown, buy a Ford truck or two, and crazy about a Ford truck.
And here's a deal that you'd be crazy to pass up. $249 a month to drive a new Ford F-150. That's $249 a month on the best-selling full-size pickup in Northeast Ohio.
I'm gonna buy me a Ford truck and cruise it up and down the road. See your Northeast Ohio Ford dealer.
Should we stop?
No, you never stop.
We should stop. Yeah, we should. Too bad we tee off in 20 minutes.
Maybe you could use one. Now get a free phone, free nights and weekends, and free activation with Ameritech Cellular's 3 for Free sale. Ameritech, your link to better communication.
Dave Thomas is sending out his crew with Wendy's new fresh stuffed pitas.
Let's go.
Yeah. Hi. Great day, huh? Nice board. Say, you tried our new pitas?
They look great.
Yeah, just a whole bite full of delight there.
Fresh.
They are very fresh. Well, what else would you expect from Wendy's, huh? Easy to eat. You just pull back the wrapper and enjoy. Yeah, I used to surf quite a bit.
Wendy's 4 new fresh stuffed pitas. If you haven't tried them, you will.
Beautiful day. Beautiful day for a pita. Well, I gotta go. You enjoy that.
You're watching the All-Star Game on your All-Star station, Fox 8.
For All-Star Pregame Show, brought to you by Snapper Lawn and Garden Equipment. Snapper, anything less just won't cut it.
The 68th All-Star Game, the huge crowd is ready to meet the All-Stars. Let's send it to the public address announcer of the Indians, Mark Tromba, for tonight's introduction.
Cleveland. Now let's meet the 1997 National League All-Stars. First from the National League clubhouse manager, Cy Bynack. The trainers from the Los Angeles Dodgers, Charlie Strasser. And from the Montreal Expos, Ron McClain. The staff from the Atlanta Braves, Bobby Dews, Clarence Jones, Jim Beecham, At Corrales, and in the bullpen, Leo Mazzoni and Ned Yost. The coaches from the San Diego Padres, Bruce Bochy. And from the San Francisco Giants, Dusty Baker. And now the National League All-Star team. From the Atlanta Braves, elected to start but unable to play, outfielder Kenny Lofton. Catcher Javier Lopez. Third baseman Chipper Jones. Pitcher Denny Nagel. And pitcher Tom Glavine. From the Chicago Cubs, first baseman Mark Grace. From the Cincinnati Reds, elected to start but unable to play, shortstop Barry Larkin. From the Colorado Rockies, first baseman Andres Galarraga. From the Florida Marlins, outfielder Moises Alou. Catcher Charles Johnson. And pitcher Kevin Brown. From the Houston Astros, pitcher Darryl Kyle. From the Montreal Expos, pitcher Pedro Martinez. From the New York Mets, pitcher Bobby Jones. From the Philadelphia Phillies, pitcher Curt Schilling. From the Pittsburgh Pirates, second baseman Tony Womack. From the St. Louis Cardinals, shortstop Royce Clayton. From the San Diego Padres, outfielder Steve Finley. From the San Francisco Giants, pitcher Rod Beck. And pitcher Sean Estes. And now, tonight's starting lineup for the National League. First, the manager of the National League from the Atlanta Braves, Bobby Cox. Leading off from the Houston Astros, second baseman Craig Biggio. Batting second from the San Diego Padres, designated hitter Tony Gwynn. Batting third from the San Francisco Giants, left fielder Barry Bonds. Batting fourth from the Los Angeles Dodgers, catcher Mike Piazza. Batting fifth from the Houston Astros, first baseman Jeff Bagwell. Batting sixth from the Colorado Rockies, right fielder Larry Walker. Batting seventh from the San Diego Padres, third baseman Ken Caminiti. Batting eighth from the St. Louis Cardinals, center fielder Ray Langford. Batting ninth from the Atlanta Braves, shortstop Jeff Blauser. The starting pitcher for the National League, warming up in the bullpen from the Atlanta Braves, Greg Maddux. Ladies and gentlemen, your 1997 National League All-Stars. And now, the 1997 American League All-Stars. First, the American League clubhouse manager, Ted Walsh. The trainers from the Anaheim Angels, Rick Smith. And from your Cleveland Indians, Jim Warfield. The staff from the New York Yankees, Willie Randolph. Don Zimmer. Jose Cardinal. And in the bullpen, Mel Stottlemyre. The coaches from your Cleveland Indians, Mike Hargrove. And from the Texas Rangers, Johnny Oates. And now the American League All-Star team from the Anaheim Angels, Jason Dixon. From the Baltimore Orioles, pitcher Randy Myers. And pitcher Mike Mussina. From the Boston Red Sox, shortstop Nomar Garciaparra. From the Chicago White Sox, outfielder Albert Bell. From your Cleveland Indians, catcher Sandy Alomar. First baseman Jim Thome. And elected to start but unable to play, outfielder David Justice. From the Detroit Tigers, pitcher Justin Thompson. From the Kansas City Royals, pitcher Jose Rosado. From the Milwaukee Brewers, third baseman Jeff Cirillo. From the Minnesota Twins, second baseman Chuck Knobloch. From the New York Yankees, pitcher David Cone. Pitcher Mariano Rivera. And outfielder Bernie Williams. From the Oakland Athletics, first baseman Mark McGwire. From the Seattle Mariners, second baseman Joey Cora. From the Toronto Blue Jays, pitcher Roger Clemens. And pitcher Pat Hentgen. And now, tonight's starting lineup for the American League. First, the manager of the American League from the New York Yankees, Joe Torre. Leading off from the Baltimore Orioles, left fielder Brady Anderson. Batting second from the Seattle Mariners, shortstop Alex Rodriguez. Batting third from the Seattle Mariners, center fielder Ken Griffey Jr. Batting fourth from the New York Yankees, first baseman Tino Martinez. Batting fifth from the Seattle Mariners, designated hitter Edgar Martinez. Batting sixth from the New York Yankees, right fielder Paul O'Neill. Batting seventh from the Baltimore Orioles, third baseman Cal Ripken. Batting eighth from the Texas Rangers, catcher Ivan Rodriguez. Batting ninth from the Baltimore Orioles, second baseman Roberto Alomar. And the starting pitcher for the American League, warming up in the bullpen from the Seattle Mariners, Randy Johnson.
So the lineups are in. We're just about ready for baseball. And friends, we invite you to stay tuned and join the Pepsi Party Sweepstakes on Fox to play. Get your Pepsi All-Star fan ballot stub ready and look for your lucky number. If it matches, you can enter the sweepstakes for a chance to win the grand prize trip to the 1998 All-Star Game or other great prizes such as the Pepsi Home Party Suite, which includes a Bose sound system, big screen TV, and a fridge stocked with Pepsi. Again, the All-Star Game just about ready to start. When we come back here on Fox, we'll have our national anthem. And Joe Buck, Tim McCarver, and Bob Brenly right after this timeout.
I love baseball on TV, but it keeps involved family. Family is what it's all about. That's what I need for families. See if you got things with work. Apple supplemental insurance is there to fill left by your regular insurance. Over 40 million people worldwide protect the one they love. Remember, if I get on, you aren't.
Model for beverage name, and this is my list. Wanna come home, swimsuit models have feelings too, but when you're little, we get mad at you. Please don't litter, don't you care? I'm so mad I could pull your hair. Think how big the world would be if everyone picked up their mess like you and me.
In a GMC Yukon, welcome a little challenge. A little mountain climbing. With horsepower that leads its class, Yukon dominates the road. Even Yukon by GMC gets you comfortably in company. Also, different kind of deodorant friction. Arm & Hammer deodorant. The only one that absorbs emanates odor baking soda. Man used Arm & Hammer on the left side, without baking soda on his right. Later, odor detectors showed we eliminated odor. The other just covered it up. Arm yourself with a better kind of protection. Hammer. Or arm yourself with Arm & Hammer anti-perspirant. The only one that absorbs and eliminates odor with the power of baking soda. Arm & Hammer anti-perspirant. Premiering Monday on Fox.
Live from Cleveland, it's a Snapper All-Star pregame show. Here's Chip Harry.
And now to honor America here at the All-Star Game in Cleveland, here's country music sensation LeAnn Rimes with the national anthem.
And now to America, please welcome MCG Curb recording artist and 1997 Grammy Award winner LeAnn Rimes.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rugged raglan, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does
voice, Leanne Rhymes, with our national anthem. And now it's time to introduce you to our voices calling the game tonight here on Fox. Let's send it up to Joe Buck, Tim McCarver, and Bob Brenly. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Chip Carey, and thank you very much. This is our perch getting ready for the All-Star game. Great work by Leanne Rhymes. We hope to do just as well with Tim McCarver and Bob Brenly. We get ready for this 68th All-Star game, and I'll start with you, Tim. Calling your 8th, you played in 2, and the All-Star game is always a good time to stop in mid-season. We've had interleague play this year and see where we all are, and here tonight we're going to have a lot of fun matchups.
It is everything an All-Star game should be. You have the two best pitchers from both leagues, the terrifying Randy Johnson, the eerily cool Greg Maddux. You have Sandy Alomar Jr. on a 30-game hitting streak. You have two guys from the National League, Tony Gwynn, Larry Walker, in pursuit of 400, the first time since 1941, and then Mark McGwire with 31 home runs, Ken Griffey Jr. with 30. If they stay healthy, they could surpass Maris 61 and 61. In baseball, it does not get any better than this.
We turn to my other guy here, Bob Brenly, who is calling his first. You played in, you weren't an All-Star, right?
I think.
Okay. Bob Brenly was an All-Star, and after all that Tim McCarver said, I guess this game kind of lends itself to being an individual player.
Well, baseball has been a team game. It's been said a team game played by individuals, and those individuals get a chance to showcase their individual talents tonight. If you're a power pitcher, rear back and try to strike them all out. If you're a base stealer, try to steal a bag. If you're a catcher, don't let them steal the bag. If you're a home run hitter, you try to knock down the scoreboard out here at Jacobs Field. Make no mistake, both teams would like to win this game, but more importantly, they want to leave their calling card on this 97 All-Star game.
What about the guys that can't run and don't hit real well? And
they're watching us.
He's ready. We're ready. Glad you're with us. First pitch is coming up after this from your local Fox station.
We're here at Jacobs Field for the 68th Annual All-Star Game. Skies are threatening. We'll be checking Doppler through the night. After the game, we'll have the extended forecast.
Aha, I got it. The new Lexus? Yeah, the ES300. The outside is restyled, more aggressive.
That's bad.
The inside is more luxurious.
Very bad.
It has more power.
Oh, my stomach.
Perhaps we should stop, Franz. I'm told this car is priced less than before.
Turn off the machine, Gerhard.
More of a Lexus, less of a price. At your Cleveland area Lexus dealer.
Hey, my research shows this is the best seat to catch a foul.
One foul ball right here.
Come on, all I want is the ball.
Right here.
Right here. Hit it here, I'll take you.
Really want a baseball? Come to Burger King right now for Cleveland photo balls. Real baseballs with pictures of your favorite players. Omar Vizquel, David Justice, Sandy Alomar Jr., and Julio Franco. $2.99 each with purchase of a Whopper value meal.
Finally! Give me the ball.
You're a big bully, you know that?
Cleveland photo balls right now at Burger King.
What are you guys doing here?
Mrs. Phillips doesn't want us to start today.
What?
She said she tried to call you a dozen times.
I never got a message.
She said your line was always busy. And how's she going to talk to the answering machine if you're talking on the phone?
That's a problem.
That's exactly what Mrs. Phillips said.
Ameritech voicemail answers your phone when you're on the phone. Order now and get 1 month free.
So what good is this answering machine?
Ameritech, your link to better communication.
Dodge Caravan thoughtfully comes in 2 sizes. Oh, the price fits too. During the National Dodge Sale, you'll find all kinds of great offers on Dodge Caravan, including up to $1,000 cash back to close the deal. Caravan, the new Dodge.
Watch the best All-Star Game coverage on Cleveland All-Star Station, Fox 8.
Live from Cleveland, it's the Snapper All-Star pregame show. Here's Joe Buck.
Welcome back to Jacobs Field. It rained a little bit earlier, but the rain has held off, at least during the player introductions. We hope to get through unscathed weather-wise. I guess we'll find out if Mother Nature is a fan of the All-Star Game here tonight. The American League teams are getting ready to take the field, and we give you a look at the lineup. We already ran through it with the player introduction, but here it is again, brought to you by Miller Beer, the starting lineup for the National League All-Stars. Biggio will lead it off. Then it's Tony Gwynn, the DH. It's Barry Bonds in left field with Mike Piazza cleaning up. Jeff Bagwell at first base. Larry Walker in right. Ken Caminiti is at third, hitting seventh. Ray Langford is in the lineup in center field, hitting eighth, and hitting ninth is the shortstop, Jeff Blauser. All of that will try to take care of Randy Johnson. A study in opposites tonight. Randy Johnson hooking up with Greg Maddux.
Well, they call him the big unit. This is one man that right-handed hitters, left-handed hitters, switch hitters, nobody likes to face this guy. Incredible numbers through the first half of the season, an overpowering fastball at times, a devastating slurve, and just a little bit of intimidation.
And definitely two guys at the opposite ends of the spectrum. Randy Johnson, Greg Maddux. We talked to Greg Maddux about his thoughts on the big left-hander.
He's intimidating. You know, he gets guys out before the game even starts. And, you know, he's scary. You know, guys don't want to hit off of him, you know. And, you know, me, they don't care. They're ready to go out there and grab the bat, you know, swing hard.
That's an interesting point. He gets guys out before they face him, even 2 or 3 in the afternoon for a night game.
Looks like something out of Jurassic Park jumping at you when he brings the ball to the plate, and there's the scouting report on the big unit.
So his last start before the All-Star game, he was between 88 and 92 with this fastball. Not the overpowering Randy Johnson we're used to seeing, but in this particular setting, I think he's going to rear back and find a little bit extra.
Randy Johnson getting ready to take on the National Leaguers, and as he prepares, we need to set the defense for the American League. Randy Johnson will deal with Biggio, Gwynn, and Barry Bonds. Biggio first up, so we'll see. We'll get an early look at a National Leaguer taking a look at Randy Johnson, and Biggio, of course, has the advantage of being a right-handed hitter, which is a little better facing Johnson. Flashball popping. Here we go. Strike one on Biggio. It's going to be an interesting look at Larry Walker facing Randy Johnson here tonight.
Larry Walker batting sixth, and remember, Larry Walker opted out of a ball game at Coors Field in Denver earlier this year against Johnson.
A foul back, and the count quickly 0-2.
Well, to quote the famous boxer Joe Louis, said, "You can run, but you cannot hide."
Not tonight.
Nowhere to hide tonight.
And he was either talking to Billy Kahn or Charles Nelson Riley. One of the two. He gets his chance here tonight, but that's a little later. 0-2 the count on Biggio, and got it. A delayed call by the home plate umpire. 3 pitches, and have a seat.
It was a sweeping slider that got the outside part of the plate. Pudge Rodriguez framing it very well, and this is from our catcher cam. Slider. Did it freeze you, folks? It did Craig Biggio.
And he is the first out now. Tony Gwynn leans back from one up and in, ball one. Tony Gwynn, obviously one of the best hitters ever. Hitting .394, number 2 in baseball, and taking ball 2, 2-0. Up the middle, knocked down by Johnson. 2 out. That ball was headed up the middle, and Big Randy speared it. And the first 2 National Leaguers are gone here in the first inning.
It was a tough play for Johnson because his momentum took him toward third base. He had to come back with the glove and stop it around his left shoulder.
You have a much better chance as a hitter to hit it under Randy Johnson than to try to bounce it over him. 6'10" out there on the mound, very imposing figure.
So now with 2 out, nobody on, another left-hander. It's Barry Bonds, and he looks at ball 1 low and away. The number's not typical Barry Bonds mid-season. 275, 20 home runs. He's driven in just 46. Very good cut. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, if there's one guy on this National League roster that can get up for facing Randy Johnson, it is Barry Bonds. He has never had trouble with left-handed pitchers throughout his career. He's never had trouble with the best fastballs in the National League.
2 out, nobody on, and a breaking ball from Johnson for strike 2. I have a feeling we're going to keep checking with Larry Walker. 2 out, nobody on, and a 1-2 pitch coming to Barry Bonds. A 1-2-3 perfect start for Randy Johnson. He struck out Biggio. He struck out Bonds. We'll see Junior in the bottom of the inning after a half in the All-Star game. No score.
Up here, I feel like traffic is miles away. With the most horsepower in its class and its accommodating size, unlike some others, I have virtually unlimited capacity. Yukon can make you feel invincible. Yukon by GMC. It puts you comfortably in command.
Well, you've got to say it's a great day for a ball game today. The fans are already into it.
Hot dog. Hot dog. It's your hot dog here, sir. It's your hot dog. Get your ice cold drink.
Everybody is just wanting towards this game, and things are just about ready to get underway.
Thank heaven for 7-Eleven. Thank heaven.
Is this safe?
Is it safe? Safe?
Not safe.
It's not safe. It's safe.
It's not safe.
Not safe.
I read it wasn't safe.
It's too risky.
It's not safe.
What are you talking about?
Shopping on the internet. Your son is shopping on the internet.
The internet? With his credit card. It's the future of commerce. I read about it.
It could be safe.
Well, how do you know?
IBM is making it safer to buy things over the web.
Bottom of the first inning here in Cleveland. Turns out to be a very pleasant night here at Jacobs Field. And another look at the Miller Beer starting lineup for the American League All-Stars. They will lead it off with Brady Anderson from Baltimore, with Alex Rodriguez batting second. Ken Griffey Jr. is hitting third, then Tino Martinez, Edgar Martinez, and Paul O'Neill in the middle. Cal Ripken is hitting seventh, Ivan Rodriguez eighth, and at second base batting ninth is Roberto Alomar. And a look at the defense for the National League, obviously very strong defensively, managed by Bobby Cox. A look at the defense, and now a look at the starter. Bobby Cox gets a lot of looks at Greg Maddux.
Bobby Cox gets the look that a lot of managers would like to have, getting to see Greg Maddux go to the mound every fourth or fifth day. He's a surgeon out there on the mound. Now, unlike Randy Johnson, who tries to overpower hitters, Greg Maddux tries to let hitters get themselves out. See the 99 strikeouts to only 13 walks on the season.
4 straight Cy Young Awards for Maddux. A string broken last year with his teammate John Smoltz, and here's Brady. He takes a strike. Broken bat, ground ball to second for Biggio. One away, and the bat shattered in the hands of Brady Anderson. Good pitch, and that is not atypical with Greg Maddux on the mound facing a left-handed hitter.
Tailing fastball away, and then the cutting fastball inside. He'll throw any pitch, any speed, at any time. He's like a Russian novel. He is tough to read. Has so much movement, control on his fastball. He doesn't need the velocity that a guy like Randy Johnson needs. And as Bobby said, a master surgeon out there. He can carve you up.
1 out, nobody on for Alex Rodriguez. I like it, a Russian novel. Da, конечно. Alex hitting .312. He's been bothered by the bad side, but after taking a couple of weeks off, he's back in there, and we're happy to see him in the All-Star game. And they're getting a little bit of a scouting report. I think Don Zimmer knows a little bit about Greg Maddux.
Yeah, Don Zimmer's never told stories in the dugout before, has he?
No. In, out, around, wherever. Don Zimmer's got a story for you. Strike 2 on Alex Rodriguez.
There is nobody in uniform at this game that is any happier to be here than Joey Cora right there in the middle. Took the red eye from California. Arrived yesterday morning. Couldn't wait to get to the ballpark.
2-2 now on Rodriguez with Griffey Jr. to follow. Somebody asked him if he was going to get any rest, go to sleep. He said, I might miss some.
Right.
He looks a little wide-eyed. One out, nobody on. The 2-2 to Rodriguez just missed the outside corner. And like the three of us talked about so often in the World Series, it a lot of times depends on what the home plate umpire is going to give Greg Maddux. That pitch he did not. And a full count on Rodriguez with one out, nobody on. We'll do it again.
And you can see even when Maddux falls behind in the count to these American League hitters, he's not going to give in and throw a fastball down the middle of the plate. Came at Alex Rodriguez with a changeup right there, got him well out in front, pulled the ball foul.
Randy Johnson taking a breather and stretching out that back. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and Rodriguez shoots one to right. He's too good. He is too good to be that young. 1 on, 1 out. And Rodriguez aboard after a phenomenal year last year, hitting .358 to lead the American League.
Last year, he was the youngest American League shortstop in the history of the American League, 18 days shy of his 21st birthday. And this year, he becomes the youngest starting shortstop in All-Star game history.
And from one Mariner to the next, here's Ken Griffey Jr. And the battle with Greg Maddux with 1 on, 1 out here in the first inning. Ball 1 low to Griffey. Griffey, of course, has missed the last 2 All-Star games with the wrist injuries and now jumps in there to face Greg Maddux. Rodriguez is running, and Griffey pops it up into shallow left for Barry Bonds. Back to first is Rodriguez, 2 out, and Griffey is 0 for 1.
Rodriguez with a huge jump at first base that time. Greg Maddux, normally very good at holding runners, seemed to ignore A-Rod over there at first base a little bit, and he was allowed to get a running start. Would have stolen that base rather easily. He's starting to lean a little bit as Maddux began his delivery to home plate. Has to retreat to first.
And he is there with 2 out for Tino Martinez. Tino did not have a terrific World Series a year ago, but look at the numbers midway through 1997, and he, folks, is the home run king from the home run derby yesterday. Not McGwire, not Griffey, Tino Martinez.
Well, it's appropriate that he worked in his father's cigar factory growing up, because he has been lighting it up.
1 on, 2 out, and that's backing out of play. Very proud of you, Bob, to slip that one in early. Tino Martinez was not just scooting him over the wall either here yesterday. He was crushing pitches. Used a tremendous bat in the competition here yesterday afternoon, and one of many that Tino Martinez hit. So he is the home run king from the home run derby yesterday. Rodriguez running. That ball is down the line in right and foul. Just foul off Greg Maddux here in the first.
Cal Ripken Jr. had a very good look at that. The American League dugout on the third base side, and this looked like a slider inside that misses by about 6 inches from being a fair ball. Maddux looks like he thought that ball was fair. Rodriguez running on the play. You have a chance to track it yourself. Wow. Inches.
Definitely foul and definitely crushed. Now the 0-2 is down and in for ball 1.
Only a guy like Maddux, after a home run hitter hits the ball just foul, will come back inside on a guy like that.
You know, look at Mike Piazza's catcher's gear. It's like a galvanized trash can sitting back there.
Part of the cast from The Wizard of Oz. There's just inside 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Thank goodness he's a tall, statuesque catcher, because if he was one of the short, dumpy catchers from my era, he would look like a trash can back there.
1 on, 2 out here in the first inning. No score. The National Leaguers went down in order. And the 2-2 to Martinez misses low and away. So from 0-2 to 3-2 from Greg Maddux, with Edgar Martinez waiting on deck. There's Pudge
What if he had all that silver stuff on?
Pudge is not quite as tall as Mike Piazza, only stands about 5'9", so he would probably resemble that trash can we've been talking about.
Runner goes on 3-2 and a ground ball to second. Biggio picks it up. Martinez is gone. So are the American Leaguers. When we come back, we head to the second. There is no score. Larry Walker will step in against Randy Johnson.
Мы снова будем счастливы. Будем жить долго, долго, долго. Нам повезет жизнь новую.
After the All-Star game, take a break with the other boys of summer.
Pussycats were pussycats.
Out to Sea is hilarious.
He will be courteous and respectful at all times.
I highly doubt it.
And Siskel and Ebert give it 2 thumbs up.
This is the best possible thing that could have happened.
Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau.
I saw the way you were staring at my daughter's chest.
Oh, I used to be a cardiologist.
Out to Sea, rated PG-13. Now playing only in theaters.
Snapper's great More for 40 deal. Buy any new Snapper walk-behind mower and get any one of these handy Snapper accessories for under $40 and get more from your Snapper mower. More efficient grass collection with the Snapper bagging system. More effective thatch removal with the Snapper Thatcherizer. Or more leaf relief with the Snapperizer Leaf Shredder. Go to your local Snapper dealer today and get more for 40.
Snapper. Anything less just won't cut it. See your local Snapper dealer today.
Ever heard of drive-in claim service? Well, who's your insurance company?
From the director and producer of Independence Day comes The Visitor. Fridays this fall on Fox.
Welcome back to Cleveland, ready for the top of the second inning. No score. The American Leaguers have the game's only hit, and Randy Johnson is back to work dealing with Mike Piazza. And dealing up and away for ball one. It's Piazza, Bagwell, and Walker. And Mike steps in third in the National League, hitting .357. 1 ball, 1 strike.
In my opinion, Mike Piazza has the best chance to hit Randy Johnson hard the other way. You could fool Piazza on a breaking ball, and he can flat-footed take you out of the ballpark to right field. Home runs in the last 2 All-Star games.
Last year's MVP, and that's strike 2.
And Piazza has just as much, if not more, power to the opposite field than he does to left, his pull field.
Leading it off here in the second with no score. And quickly in the hole, 1-2. And that just eluded the glove of Ivan Rodriguez. And back to catcher cam with Rodriguez behind the plate working with Randy Johnson.
Well, if you want to see what it's like to be a catcher, have somebody sitting next to you punch you in the chest right about now. Whack. He has his glove in position to catch that ball, but the tick off the bat deflected it just enough to miss the glove and hit the chest protector.
1-2 the count. Randy Johnson. There you go. That pitch up, and Piazza, he can afford to be a little late on that very good fastball and still drive it to the right side of the field.
Like he was there. That is a classic 2-strike Piazza swing at a ball out of the strike zone.
Again, the 1-2. And that'll get it back and out of play. Piazza, of course, last year playing near his hometown of Norristown, Pennsylvania. Game was at the vet in Philadelphia. He ended up with a home run and a double and took the MVP award. Very, very good at bat for Piazza. as Johnson tries to get it past him. And as we talk about Piazza and his efforts last year in the Midsummer Classic off Charles Nagy. And Tim, don't think there was much doubt about it.
No, it wasn't. I don't think there was any doubt in Mike Piazza's mind or Charles Nagy's.
A ball and 2 strikes on Piazza, and that's up the middle to the right of Alomar. Tiptoes after it, 1 away. We want to tell you early that tonight's All-Star game on Fox is also available in Spanish by tuning your TV set to the SAP channel. Here's Bagwell. It's amazing that a guy with the uppercut swing of Bagwell can still hit for average. You know the power is going to be there, but every year he's over 300. 1 out, nobody on. And the uppercut swing, a little chopper up the middle. Alomar taking care of the first 2 here in the 2nd inning. Well, now it's time for a Miller Time All-Star memory. And I think of the last 5-7 years, this is probably the most vivid for most. 1993 at Baltimore's Camden Yards, Randy Johnson and John Kruk. The at-bat and a little tip of the cap, and now here we go.
He did it again! He did it again!
He gets Larry Walker.
I told you it hit right-handed. We were talking about it before the game. He batted right-handed earlier in the year in batting practice. And here he is. He's going to face him right-handed. Why not? Just turn it around. Why not? He looks like a catcher hitting.
A lot of people don't remember that these 2 are former teammates coming up through the Expos organization. And now he's back to the left side, and that's what this game's all about.
Little fun at the old ballpark.
There's a strike from Randy Johnson.
He looked like a tank driver with that helmet on backwards.
2 out, nobody on, and, well, 3-1 on Larry Walker. Walker is hitting .398 on the season. And a 2-out walk. So Walker reaches base after that first pitch. It was like the flyby here right after the anthem.
It's a big sight game here. Randy Johnson throws the ball over Larry Walker's head just like he did to John Kruk. No harm there, well over his head, no chance to get him hurt. And look at the dugout. Look at the National League dugout. Mark Grace is saying, get him out of there before I have to hit.
Ray Lankford saying the same thing. All left-handers. Here's Caminiti. He unloads in strike 1, 95 miles per hour from Randy Johnson. And so much goes into that matchup with Larry Walker and the grief that he took for sitting out that June 13th game in Seattle against Randy Johnson. Quickly an 0-2 count on Caminiti.
Well, that's not totally unusual in the history of baseball. Tim, I'm sure you remember guys used to come up with Ryanitis when Nolan Ryan was starting.
Oh, yeah, all sorts of ailments.
Sure.
Sore necks, elbows.
How about a former teammate of yours, Roger Maris, in the 1968 series, sitting out both Game 2 and Game 5 against Mickey Lolich. Maris regarded as one of the tougher, grittier players.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
And he said to his manager, Red Schoendienst, "Hey, Red, I'm sorry, I just can't hit this guy." He sat out Game 2 and Game 5 against Lolich, and then ended up going 0 for 3 in the finale.
Not a lot of other Cardinals could hit Mickey Lolich in that series either, up 3-1. The Tigers came back and won 3 in a row, and Mickey Lolich was the MVP of that series.
So it begs the question, was the sin committed by Larry Walker sitting out, or being honest about why he was sitting out against Randy Johnson? Still 0-2 on Caminiti.
You know, there have been other left-handed hitters that have set out against Randy Johnson. Also, Rafael Palmeiro, 0 for 4, lifetime against Johnson. John Olerud, now with the Mets, when he was with the Blue Jays in 9 years, was 0 for 2 against Randy Johnson.
That barely missed.
So it's not like Larry Walker was the first guy that set out against the terrifying Johnson.
But he was the first guy to be honest about it.
and the first guy that was hovering around the 400 mark, and people wanted to see the matchup. They didn't get it. And that's the other end of the argument, is that the fan that was more upset than anybody that they didn't get a chance to see Randy Johnson against Larry Walker, one of the game's best pitchers against this year's best hitter. A ground ball to third. Ripken still getting familiar with the position, takes care of it to his left. We'll see Cal. Bottom of the second, going there here in Cleveland. All-Star game, no score.
My love must be a kind of blind love. I can't see anyone but you.
Norman Feeney, Pepsi drinker for life. Pepsi, generation next.
Said he was going to call us, tell us what it feels like.
Across America, more people use Cellular One than any other cellular service.
Hello?
In a national tasting of regular and iced beers, Brewmasters named one beer the best tasting beer in America, Old Milwaukee. So when you want the best tasting beer, now you know where to turn.
Hey, Fred, want a Brontosaurus burger? No, Barney, I'm driving. Oops, I dropped my fries. Watch the confidence, pterodactyl.
This new Twister sure makes for a smooth ride.
What? Welcome to the 90s. Everybody needs a little KFC.
Now you can try the new Bacon Ranch Twister, plus a Pepsi, just $2.99.
It's time for the Pepsi Party Sweepstakes on Fox. Grab your Pepsi All-Star Fan Ballot stub and look for your Pepsi Party Sweepstakes lucky number. If your lucky number matches 627449, you can enter the sweepstakes for a chance to win the grand prize trip for 10 to the 1998 All-Star Game or other great prizes. The 1997 All-Star Game on Fox is brought to you by Yukon by GMC, putting you comfortably in command. By 7-Eleven, oh thank heaven for 7-Eleven. By IBM, solutions for a small planet. And by Red Lobster, prepared so fresh you can taste it.
Before Ken Caminetti hit that ball to the left side, the slider from Randy Johnson just missed right into your living room.
And you can see Pudge Rodriguez trying to pull that ball back towards the center of the plate.
Randy Johnson has taken care of the first two innings, and from what we understand, that's probably it for Randy Johnson. Here's Edgar Martinez leading it off with O'Neill and Ripken to follow. If anybody gets on, Ivan Rodriguez. All of those decisions up to Joe Torre, who was finally here as a manager. Off to the right side and a quick 0-2 count on Edgar Martinez. Nobody knows anything about Edgar Martinez yet. Year after year after year, a two-time batting champion. He just puts up big numbers.
Well, Lee Elia, his hitting coach in Seattle, calls him a quiet Pete Rose. He has that kind of command of the strike zone, that kind of a hitter. Sprays the ball around to all parts of the park.
I think Edgar Martinez may be a big reason if Ken Griffey Jr. breaks Roger Maris's record. Martinez could share in the glory because he hits behind Griffey, and Mark McGwire, on the other hand, even though he has one home run more than Ken, is more or less naked in that Oakland Athletics lineup.
Martinez and Maddox hooking up, and Martinez gets into one to left. At the track, at the wall, goodbye.
The purest hitter in this game from the left side, Tony Gwynn. From the right side, Edgar Martinez. There is no surefire way of pitching him That ball in on the hands, biting in. He one-hands it out of the ballpark.
That comes leading off this second inning, and now here's Paul O'Neill. He takes a strike.
The American League has had some pretty good cuts against Greg Maddux in the early going of this game. They've hit a couple of balls right on the button.
Maddux this season has allowed only 4 home runs. Tino Martinez nearly hit one in the first, just foul, and now Edgar Martinez gets one into left. And he gets a back rub from one of his teammates, Alex Rodriguez.
That's one of the most talented masseuses you will ever see.
Nothing into the count, now ball 1.
And he short-armed that ball. The pitch came in, his arms got short.
That's from captain 30-game hitting streak, Sandy Alomar.
Hoping some of that from Edgar will rub off on him for the second half of the season.
A ball and 2 strikes on O'Neill. Up the middle. Ooh, that hurt. Off the ankle of Maddux. Limps after it, takes care of him, 1 away, but you know that Bobby Cox will take a deep breath and hope that Greg's all right.
Looked like it hit Greg on the right heel. He is scheduled to start against the New York Mets on Saturday. I think he goes down, but I think it hit the bone on the inside part of his right heel. Caroms off the mound. He makes the play and appears to be all right.
Well, what a great athlete. Even after getting hit in the foot with that ball, able to keep his wits about himself and pick up the ball and retire the runner at first base.
You know, they give Gold Glove awards out to pitchers. He's got 7.
Does he really? I wonder why. That was a routine play for Greg Maddux.
1 out, nobody on. Here's Ripken. Up the middle for Biggio. Came to an all-star game his first time as a catcher. The only guy ever to appear in an all-star game as both a catcher and then years later as a second baseman. We're covering tonight's all-star game as the Goodyear Blimps Spirit of Akron. This is the 72nd consecutive year Goodyear Blimps have covered the nation's top sporting events. So on a night where earlier the weather was a bit more threatening than it is right now, they stayed up in the air and watched all those little 5 planes with messages shooting by them. And some rather interesting messages on some of those planes.
One in particular
is Ivan Rodriguez. Pudge takes a strike.
One of the planes had trailing along that Will Rogers never met Joey Bell. That was about 10 minutes before Albert Bell was greeted with boos by everybody in unison here at Jacobs Field.
Strike 2 on Rodriguez. Did you find it interesting that the crowd here, while they booed Albert Bell, which was to be expected, cheered Curt Schilling and Pedro Martinez, 2 guys they would love to have in Indians uniform,
trying to woo them with their cheering.
1 and 2 as that pitch barely missed.
Huge ovation also for Kenny Lofton. Remember the Indians last year, now the fine center fielder for the Atlanta Braves.
2 out, nobody on, and now 2 and 2. I don't think people follow National League Baseball realize just how good Kenny Lofton is and what he can do at the top of a lineup.
Well, he certainly made a very good Atlanta Braves team even better. A dimension of speed.
Talking about a guy in Kenny Lofton who he just turned 30. Really, before the age of 30, will have been the igniter for 2 very good offenses. And here's a guy that's going to be a free agent next year.
2 offenses that only met 2 years ago in the World Series, Cleveland and Atlanta.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And Rodriguez wants to think about it. So David Justice ends up in Cleveland. They love David Justice. Actually was voted as a starter for the American League, but out with a bad elbow. Just off the disabled list. And there's Kenny Lofton. Same story. Bad groin and not able to play here tonight.
And Joe, speaking of free agents, Ivan Rodriguez will be one also and may command the biggest money next fall.
With one exception. The man on the mound.
I don't think he's going to be a free agent. There is no way the Atlanta Braves are going to let Greg Maddux go. No way, in my judgment.
If he does become a free agent, you're talking about signing a sure Hall of Famer. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, nobody on. And a little comebacker. Will he be a free agent? Won't he be a free agent? Only time will tell. Maddux threw 2. A home run by Edgar. We'll be back to the Jake after this from your local Fox station.
This summer, Fox 8 will be the home of the All-Stars. Then again, that's nothing new.
Anyone that have a problem, see Tim Taylor.
For over a quarter-century, Cleveland television has had one of its own on top. Through the moments we love to remember. The ones we can't forget. Though times may have changed, some things are as reliable as they ever were. Tim Taylor, Fox 8 News.
Well, if I had money to tell you what to do, I'd go downtown, buy a Ford truck or 2, and crazy about a Ford truck.
And here's a deal that you'd be crazy to pass up. $148 a month to drive a new Ford Ranger. That's $148 a month on the best-selling compact pickup in Northeast Ohio.
I'm gonna buy me a Ford truck and cruise it up and down the road.
See your Northeast Ohio Ford dealer.
It's new. And it tastes great. Introducing McDonald's Classic Deluxe for just 99 cents. Cheese included. It's an extra you don't pay extra for. New McDonald's Classic Deluxe, just 99 cents.
Busy place. Seems like more people than ever are switching to Toyota.
Especially here in the northern Ohio area, where Toyota sales here double. And it's no wonder, with cars like Camry getting better and more affordable every year. And this year's Camry will have more people switching than ever here in northern Ohio, with its roomier interior, longer wheelbase, more powerful V6, and new lower price.
Now's a great time to see your Toyota dealer, and I'd hurry if I were you. You're watching the All-Star Game on your All-Star station, Fox 8.
Well, welcome back to downtown Cleveland, Ohio. This is the 68th All-Star Game, and the 5th time the city of Cleveland has hosted it, and they have been wonderful hosts. To the surprise of no one, Randy Johnson, 2 shutout innings, to the surprise of no one. And he gives way to Roger Clemens, the hard-throwing right-hander, 13 victories, #1 in the big league.
And there's some question that Roger Clemens may want out of Toronto. He said he wanted to go up there to play for a contender. The Blue Jays have not been a contender up to this point of the season. Roger the Rocket still has the overpowering fastball, hard slider, tremendous split-fingered fastball. Fresh off a 2-0 shutout against the Yankees on Sunday afternoon. And that's right, folks. He's better than he's been in 5 years. His velocity's back, the best forkball in the American League. 2-seamer and a 4-seamer. Now, the 2-seamer goes away from the left-hander. The 4-seamer rides in tight to him.
Here's a guy who's happy to see Randy Johnson off the mound, even though it is Roger Clemens out there now, Ray Langford. A late swing and a miss, 1 ball, 1 strike. Ray Langford in the lineup replacing Kenny Lofton.
I think most of these guys would rather see Cy Young himself than face Randy Johnson.
Definitely the left-hander. 1 ball, 1 strike from Clemens. A little overmatched there for strike 2.
Yeah, the first-time All-Stars, I don't care what you say, you're still battling jitters. It's tough to go up there on this kind of a stage, facing one of the best in the other league, and try to control